Coming up on today's show.
As they're going through the process of remediation with their home, working with FEMA, they're realizing how many not only online documents they have, but also paper documents that they still have coming in through the mail in various different sorts.
Planning, and you're a professional organizer, planning for all kinds of events is really critical. I mean, being prepared in the event of something happening that you're not expecting to happen that day.
And I think it's much easier when you know what are the specific documents. And I think that's always the biggest question. I have a kit, what do I put in it?
How to prepare for an emergency, part 2, today on Keeping You Organized. Hello and welcome to Keeping You Organized. Today we'll continue our discussion on how to prepare for an emergency, and what are those things you need to do before an earthquake or a flood or a hurricane, or in our case up in the Midwest, tornadoes. I mean, everybody has their own emergencies and things that can hit them. But last time we were joined, and we're joined again now with Ellen DeLapp from professional-organizer.com, certified professional organizer and president of the National Association of Professional Organizers. That's a big title and a big credential there. But Ellen, welcome back to Keeping You Organized.
Well, thank you.
Well, we talked last time a little bit about the Houston, the Hurricane Harvey, and you were just blocks away from that, so you had a really good firsthand story on that. And I encourage people to go back to part 1 of this show to catch up on that. And then we started talking about the best time to get organized for an emergency is now, because they're happening all the time. So time really is of the essence. And we started talking a little bit about the categories, the kinds of documents, and we just started touching on maybe some stories from you and some of your clients. I'd love to hear another story maybe of one of your clients and how they were either successful or unsuccessfully able to get through with their documents during that Hurricane Harvey emergency.
Well, fortunately, one of my clients moved all of her files upstairs. They were downstairs, and we had put them in portable totes, which was really helpful. And then we were able really, literally, to save them and bring them upstairs. And we've been able to use them as we can access her second floor. She escaped with her kids and her pets by boat.
Oh, wow.
Fortunately, she's living with a relative right now. Many of the people that I work with have wanted me to help them set up a secondary filing system, because as they're going through the process of remediation with their home, working with FEMA, they're realizing how many not only online documents they have, but also paper documents that they still have coming in through the mail in various different sorts.
Yeah, well, and if we're dealing with like FEMA or anything with the government, there's a lot of paperwork involved.
Yeah,
right?
There is
Which we like, because we make file folders and things like that to store the paper in. So we don't want it to all go digital. We'd like to still keep some of that good paper around. But so what kind of setup would you use for something like that? I mean, there's lots of different options I'm sure you can go with.
So we are using a lot of the Smead products to set up a little mini filing system. So sometimes I'm using the tote that has a handle with the hanging files in it. And of course, my trusty label maker that I bring with me everywhere. And, a lot of the files are a parallel. They're what I call a quick sort. So they might be bids from people that are potentially going to help you renovate your home. Those are typically in paper. They might be documents. You might be obtaining a loan to pay for the home renovations. The typical mail that comes in, we still want to have a place for that. There's medical papers. So this little quick sort file is helping my clients feel a lot more in control and kind of stabilized in their new environment.
Right. And there's one thing you don't want to be after an emergency hits, and that is stressed out about being disorganized, because
exactly.
You know what I mean? That's enough. So having some, and like you said, there's probably all kinds of different ways you can do that with pocket folders or expanding files or things like that. Last time, just to refresh people a little bit, we talked about a newer product that we have, which is the emergency planning kit, which is what we're hoping and encouraging you to do beforehand. And inside that comes this wheel of organization, which has all the different categories of kinds of documents you'd like. Now, this is not a one-size-fits-all. It's more of a suggestion. Some people may have different documents. Some may not apply to your situation. But in a situation like this, we talked in the last episode about some of those important documents. Again, on this concept of getting it done now, how would you encourage people to, even if they don't get our kit to do it, how could someone just do it homemade if they had to do it that way?
Well, a lot of people have used file folders like you're talking about. And also there's several folders that are linked together. And again, it gives you one pocket for each type of different information that you want. And you want information that's financial. You want the information that's the vital documents like your birth certificate, social security card, passport. You want information on your pets. And that's one thing I love about the Smead organizer is it actually has a separate section for your pets, which is fabulous because a lot of pets have medical conditions as well, as we know. So I think you could do it any number of ways where it's just creating the file folders that work for you.
Yeah. Speaking of the pets down there during the Hurricane Harvey, I saw on the news, it was like a lot of the shelters and the vets, I mean, they kind of got overrun because there were a lot of stray pets as well, wasn't there?
Absolutely. And the thing is that a lot of pets were going into shelters separately from the people that with their families. But even at the George R. Brown, they were creating a space for pets where emergency shelter was prepared for families that had pets. It was great.
Yeah, great. Okay, well, now you've had a chance to work with this kit a little bit. We sent you one to take a look at. What's some of the feedback you have on the emergency planning kit, and what are some of the things you like? And if there's anything you don't like about it, I mean, or just give us your honest opinion on how a kit like this would work and how you found it when you unboxed it.
What I loved about the kit was that it had specific instructions on how to use it. So it's very simple and it makes you feel less overwhelmed as a result. And I think it's much easier when you know what are the specific documents. And I think that's always the biggest question. I have a kit, what do I put in it? After that, I also like the fact that it's very compact and portable. So it's easy for us to put into a bag and to take along with us. And it's just the right size for not only letter size, but legal size documents. It also came with this little zipper case that I want to show you.
Yes.
That I thought was a really wonderful idea that it also just gives you one more pouch to put important documents in that could be waterproof.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really nice addition to include with it.
Well, the other thing that can be used for is that can be used for things like safety deposit box keys, or kind of like, what do you call it, non-normal sized kinds of things.
Exactly. And what I really liked about this was it was so easy to understand.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great product because I feel like it helps you understand the process and you feel like it's manageable. And as a result, you'll actually accomplish what you set out to do.
Right. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to wrap up this discussion. We're going to talk again, maybe a little bit about what happens after the emergency. We touched on that a little bit. And just any final thoughts that you have on getting prepared for emergency. We're with Ellen DeLapp, professional organizer, certified professional organizer from the National Association of Professional Organizers, and professional-organizer.com in the Houston area. And we'll be right back. Now there's a place just for you. Life can be busy, and you still have to keep it all together. That's why you like to be organized and in control. Introducing MyOrganized.life, a special place where you can get ideas and solutions to organize what's important to you, your important papers, your important decisions, your important life events. We show you the ideas and products to stay organized in your life. See what's new. Stop by and say hello. Visit us at any time at www.myorganized.life. It's just for you. MyOrganized.life by Smead. Find us at www.myorganized.life. myorganized.life. We're back now on Keeping You Organized. We're going to wrap up our show here on how to prepare for an emergency. And, Ellen DeLapp from professional-organizer.com, we've been talking a lot about floods and that kind of thing and rebuilding, which happens, after, say, like a hurricane or a major rainfall like you had there in the Houston area. What other kinds of disasters or emergencies do people need to be prepared for?
Well, unfortunately, immediately after our hurricanes, there was devastating fires in California. So that, I think was really impacted us in the way we thought about, in fact, being blessed that our homes were not affected by fire. Like you mentioned earlier, tornadoes, very devastating. So I think a lot of us realize that life is got a lot of things going on here. And as a result, we want to be prepared, and it will make us feel better in the long run.
Yeah. Do you think, now you referred in the last episode about talking with your insurance agent. Did the insurance agent have any other stories or other tips for people? Because, I can imagine those guys were working pretty much around the clock trying to help people get restored. But what would an insurance agent say if he was right here or she was right here with us talking about being prepared for an emergency?
I think to go ahead and create a video or take pictures of your home in terms of the home inventory and take care of, like, what are the things that I own and what are their value? That has been very helpful. I think a lot of people have felt that in retrospect, they wish they had that because it's easier to not only for your insurance, but also there's a casualty loss part of your income tax that you can use that same home inventory for if you had suffered significant loss, which most of these families did. The other thing I think they reminded us is to have more than one copy of everything, to make sure that there's a duplicate in another person's home, in a family member's home, in a friend's home, so that when it comes back to finding some of this information, it's a little bit easier for you.
A lot of those ideas that your insurance agent talked about really go across the board, no matter what you're planning, whether it be a fire or a hurricane. And so, planning, and you're a professional organizer, planning for all kinds of events is really critical. I mean, being prepared in the event of something happening that you're not expecting to happen that day.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? I have to say that Smead has given us some great opportunities to get more organized with some other of their kits that I really appreciate too. One of the ones earlier on, there's a life documents organizer.
Yes.
That I received. I don't know. Has it been in about a year ago? Y'all have had it out?
It's about 2 years. Yeah. And that's been really a popular product because that takes a lot of the, whether it's for end of life or it's a lot of the same documents you might have in an emergency, but a little bit more in depth because it's things you need, maybe if you need to plan something or if in the event of passing, your next of kin can take and, have access to that. So yeah, it's a great kit.
Yeah, I love that kit because it, again, pulls together these really important documents that you might have scattered in several places. And all of us want to be prepared just in case when things don't go as planned, and having a document holder that keeps everything in one place. Again, you can take it in baby steps. You don't have to fill it all in the next hour, but just as you're coming across things. And again, it shares with you the specific documents that need to be housed there. And I've done that with a lot of my clients, even before these emergencies happen. Not only just parents, because they want to be sure their kids are taken care of. And so these are document holders that hold all those important family documents as well. So I especially love the life document organizer. Yep. And also, I noticed y'all have a health care and wellness. And just this morning, I was working with a client that, a lot of us have a lot of medical things that are going on, quite unfortunate, but we want to get all that information in one place. So those are great tools for us to use working with our clients to help them feel like they're really getting a grip on where their documents are in the case of situations that have not worked the way we might have wanted them to be.
Right. Well, and these kits are designed to be do-it-yourself, but also we know a lot of the professional organizers, especially those in NAPO, are using these with their clients. Let's talk a little bit about, as we close up here, your practice, the kinds of clients you work with, and if someone does feel overwhelmed, how do they get a hold of you so you can help them?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. My practice is based in Houston, Texas. The name of my business is professional-organizer.com. I've been with NAPO since 2000, and I work mainly with ADHD clients who feel that we want to make time and space for what's important to them. I work virtually as well as in the greater Houston area. And what I love is working with my clients, help them live the lives they want to live.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an amazing opportunity for me to be a part of the successes they're having.
Yeah. Well, we're going to put your contact information in the show notes. If you're listening to this, you're on the road or at the gym, when you get back to your computer, go to smead.com/podcast and look up the episodes with Ellen DeLapp, because she can help you do some of this stuff and use our products if you want, or maybe some other variation, something that works for you. But the main thing is do something about getting organized, whether it's for an emergency or a financial crisis or a healthcare crisis. Do something about it now when you can do it and you can be, focused on it and not in the midst of the actual emergency itself. So,
Exactly.
Well, Ellen, thank you. It's been another great two-episode podcast on this subject. I'm sure we'll have you back on again like we always do, and we'll be keeping in updates as to how things are going in Houston as you guys rebuild down there too as well, because I know it's going to be a long process before everything's back to normal.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for highlighting the Houston area and emergency preparedness. It's something that I think we all know we should be doing, and this is really going to prompt people to get into action. So thank you for the spotlight on this.
You bet. All right. Well, folks, there you have it. We are done getting you prepared. Now you just have to do the work. Do it now. Don't delay. And we'll see you next time on Keeping You Organized.